Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Shadowhunter, and today I kind of got this video idea of one of my mates, but basically it's going to be my favourite movie from every year I have been alive. So before we start this, please make sure to like, share and subscribe for future videos. It'll help me greatly in the YouTube algorithm, and of course as Fandom Menace we'll all rise together. But without further ado, let's get started. With 2005, I have got Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. It's my favourite Star Wars film. It's probably one of my favourite films ever. It's crawled into my top 10 now. It's just such a good story. The turn of Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader. That story you've always wanted to know since 1977. Well, 1983, sorry, for Return of the Jedi. And just how good the film was as well. Like Order 66, got to see Yoda and Palpatine fight finally. Anakin and Obi-Wan, just top-notch film. And we're going on to 2006 with Casino Royale. But first off, a quick honourable mention to 300, which was runner-up in this. Casino Royale, I'm a big James Bond fan, especially a big Daniel Craig James Bond fan. And for me, this makes sense. I really enjoy this movie. It's one of my favourite Bond films, and I can't wait for the new one. Obviously, 300 didn't make it just because I prefer Bond films over 300 film. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you can leave your opinions down below. But without further ado, let's move on to 2007, which I've got Transformers 1, and in the runner-up spot I have Harry Potter 3 Prisoner of Azkaban. Transformers, I've always thought was like one of the most underrated franchises out there. Transformers 1 was a really top-notch film. I enjoyed it immensely. Optimus Prime, cool character. Megatron, badass villain. Probably the only time in the franchise he is a badass. Just absolutely wrecking everyone that he sees. Obviously, we have Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky. Bit of a controversial choice, a bit of a controversial character, but I really like the character. My preference. Probably the best thing about the film is the final battle, and of course, we are introduced to our favourite Transformer, Bumblebee. Harry Potter didn't make it. Obviously, again, personal preference, but still a strong film. One of the best in the series, if I'm being honest. Probably one of the only Harry Potter films I enjoy. So, probably the most difficult one to choose out of this list, besides from 2011. We have 2008. And the two films I'll most likely mention is The Dark Knight and Iron Man. Two very strong stories, two very strong films. One film about an antagonist who's fighting for the soul of Gotham, and then one genius billionaire playboy philanthropist turned into a superhero. If I'm being honest, I've said this before, but my favourite film of all time is The Dark Knight, so I'm going to have to go with The Dark Knight for this one. Iron Man is a close second, it's like pretty much there. Iron Man's my favourite origin story of all time. The film is just so good, man, honestly. But obviously, The Dark Knight is probably known as one of the probably known as the best Joker performance by Heath Ledger. Rest in peace, my guy. Just very strong performances. Obviously, there's problems with Christian Bale's Batman and the voice. I didn't really mind it too much. Harvey Dent, really strong character. Definitely one of his lines for film has stuck with me, and that is, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." And that's really true. If I'm being honest, that's very true. And just what this film stands for is a very strong message. And yeah, if I could create any film, this would be it. But anyways, 2009, I've only got one film for this. I couldn't really think of any other films to put in this category for 2009. And I've gone with Inglourious Basterds. Now, if you know me very well, you'll know that one of my favourite directors of all time is Quentin Tarantino, especially for his films like Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Basterds. Hans Lander, oh, fucking brilliant villain if I'm being honest, top notch. Um, I can definitely see him becoming an underrated villain in the years to come, but if I'm being honest, he's still a top notch villain for me. I haven't really talked about this film much on my channel, and just top notch film. I really enjoy the plot, the film as a whole. It's definitely an out there film that works so well. But yeah, mainly the antagonist for me that does it, and that's all I have for 2009. I don't really have any shout outs because it's a bit of a grey area year for films. But coming in to 2010, we've finally crossed into the tens now, and I have gone with Inception with a honourable mention to Grown Ups 1. Inception is probably one of my favourite films that are out there. It's just weird and quirky, and I really like it. Tom Hardy, I really enjoyed it. Um, like, if I look at someone who wants to be the next James Bond, actually, I've discussed this on my channel. I'll leave a link to the James Bond video up there. But basically, one of the main reasons I put Tom Hardy as a candidate was because of this film. Obviously, Grown Ups, funny film. It's a good time. If you just want to chill out with your family and watch it, it's a really good laugh. I recommend you all watch that. But Inception, it's an A plus for me. That film. Yeah. So let's move on to 2011. In 2011, I've got three films. This is probably my favourite year of films aside from 2019 and 2018. I've got as the main film Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and then my two shout outs are Warrior and Attack the Block. Captain America: The First Avenger is, as we all know, the Captain America trilogy is like the best trilogy in the MCU besides from the Infinity Saga. But I don't really count the Infinity Saga as trilogy. I count it as a, because trilogies are three. There's four films in the MCU Infinity Saga. But the first Avenger, it brings along who I think is the most underrated villain in the 2010s, and that is Red Skull. Really strong villain. I see a lot of Obadiah in him. Just the psychological play, and also he's very physical as well. Obviously, we know he injects himself with the super soldier serum, and it made for a really interesting final battle, which we saw Captain America go under the ice. Definitely to see how they connected the World War II film to modern day is very well done. Obviously, there's a bit of timeline problems because he's been asleep for 70 years. It goes from 1945 to 2015, but the Avengers takes place in 2012. I'm not really sure how that works. But we'll move on to the honorable mentions now. Warrior. I watched this the other week, and that and Southpaw are my favourite boxing slash MMA films of all time. Just the build up and suspension to the final battle where it's actually brothers fighting and going at it. Just the emotional side of it as well is so compelling. The story is so compelling. The plot is top notch. Tom Hardy's performance as this ex-military personnel gone AWOL is absolutely incredible. The brother, just a normal physics teacher that just acts like he's got two jobs as a bouncer, but he's actually an MMA pro. He used to be as well, and just the story behind it, it's a top. Honestly, if there was any film I'd recommend you all to watch, besides Attack the Block, it's Warrior. And speaking of Attack the Block, we'll get onto that now. Um, year 9, I think it was, I saw it for the first time and I just got hooked to it immediately. John Boyega as Moses. We got Sam, who was Jodie Whittaker from Doctor Who. Joe Cornish is the director, and the fact that the budget was kind of low in a sense, it was like 15 million. Um, yeah, I'd definitely say this was the reason that John Boyega really found his foot in the film industry. I don't think he would have got his role in Star Wars if it weren't for this film, honestly. Um, just top notch job by all the actors. I need to stop saying top notch. Classic acting job there by all by all the actors. Um, very strong performances. Obviously, learning about this film in film studies was really helpful in me understanding the film. Obviously, you got the different aspects. You got urban realism, sci-fi, and horror, all mixed together to make a very strong film. And it's probably my most underrated film of all time. So let's get into 2012. Coming in first place in 2012 is The Avengers. Now, The Avengers is the coming together of all these iconic characters. You got Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. They all meshing together as one unit, even though they shouldn't be able to fight off Loki and the Chitauri that was sent by Thanos, as we'll know at a later date. The Some bits of the story for me are a bit off the edge, but it's a very well stringed together story from Act 1 to 2 to 3. Very well stringed together. Very, just very well tied in together. Definitely is the best way to end off Phase 1. Did I end off Phase 1? Yeah, I did. Definitely the best way to end off Phase 1. Very important film. Obviously, there's a shout out for this one, and it's Skyfall. Obviously, James Bond fan. I enjoyed this film, even though some people thought it was a bit meh. I really enjoyed this film. I pretty much enjoy any James Bond film. This will be the last James Bond film in this list, I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's the last one on this list, so you won't need to hear any more about James Bond. And again, I'll leave the links up in the description up here of all the videos that you need to see, and also I'll leave some links down below to my Twitter and shit if you want to learn some new facts. And let's go on to 2013. In 2013, I have got two films. I've got Iron Man 3 as the main film. Um, it's a non-Christmas film. I really enjoyed this film. Shane Black, with his style of it, really worked together with Robert Downey Jr.'s performance. The opening scene of it with RDJ prepping his new suit, going to a remix of Jingle Bells is really funny for me. I've still got a video of it saved, so I can just watch every now and then if I feel down. Because there's nothing better than watching RDJ just putting on his suit to Jingle Bells. And obviously Grown Ups 2, like Grown Ups 1, just more of a laugh and a better experience for me. Yeah, I recommend you go watch all these comedy films. I recommend. I don't think there's a lot on this list. There's a couple more, but that's about it. But yeah, there's nothing really much to say about 2030. It's one of the more grayer years of film, like 2009. I think that'll be the last one that there isn't a shout out for. But yeah, 2013, very underwhelming year. Obviously, we had Thor: The Dark World out there as well. Um, didn't perform to its expectations at all, and it was very poor. That film, Iron Man 3, I think is better than Iron Man 2. Obviously, I think it's a strong film. Not my favorite MCU film, but it's definitely a film I can watch over and over again and enjoy. So, now 2013, move to 2014. Now, in 2014, this was a dark time for me, but in 2014, I've gone with the main film of the year, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, with a shout out to John Wick 1. Captain America: Winter Soldier, as you know, all know, is my favourite MCU film. I'll leave a link up there for you all to watch that. I ranked up my favourite MCU films. Um, just we see from Captain America 1 that it's Captain America serving the government and its ideals. In Captain America 2, we see Captain America questioning the ideals of the government and if it's really what it should be or if it's just corrupt, and we figure out it is. Um, Robert Redford and Alexander Pierce is a fucking brilliant villain. Definitely not the most physical by any means. I don't think he threw a punch, or I think he shot one bullet, maybe. But he's not the most physical, but he's just got that mental power and he asserts it over everything and everyone he sees. Uh, Enough about Captain America. But let's go to John Wick. It's just Keanu Reeves, isn't it? You can't really say no to a Keanu Reeves film. Um, Class acting by Keanu, of course. I feel like Keanu obviously gets a bit of a boost in your ratings for acting because he does all of his stunts, like Tom Cruise. And just. It's a film that I watched yesterday and it's still as good as I remember. Actually, no, it's better than I remember. 2014, Captain America, John Wick. Let me show you 2015. Moving on to 2015, I have got, I mentioned this earlier, Southpaw, with a shout out to Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Southpaw is about the actor that Jake Gyllenhaal, uh, the, let me just have a look for you a second, I can't remember his name, Billy Hope, and him boxing, the fact that he loses his wife over a confrontation with one of his main rivals. Um, just a very emotional film. The budget weren't even that high either, about 30 mil. And just obviously in the film we see that Jake just goes into a spiral, and just he loses his daughter over the death of his wife, like to child protective services, and he needs to revive his career to revive any chance that he has of looking after his daughter. And the film is just so strong and so powerful and just resonates with a lot of people. Just no matter how bad depression can get or how bad you feel in the gutter, you can always recover and kick ass and become a world champion. Yeah. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, the best film in sequel trilogy by far. I'll probably get a B, low B, high C. The death of Han Solo, very ballsy, and I cried in the cinema when I watched it, because Han's like one of the three characters, Han, Luke, Leia, them three characters, so iconic, and then you just see JJ with balls of steel, like pure steel that won't burn, has a high melting and boiling point. They just won't burn there, just steel. And when it came up to the scene with Han Solo, just the scene of Han Solo dying, he just goes to everyone in the crew and just says, just weird, massive wang, and just goes, "This is what's happening. Deal with it." Just the film so enjoyable. It introduces one of the best villains that I've seen in a long time, Kylo Ren. And obviously, as soon as you know, if you watched the video the other day, um, I'm rewriting episode 8. So, see what we can do with Kylo Ren, shall we? Let's move on to 2016. A year of brightness, no COVID, and a lot of good superhero films. So, in 2016, I have Captain America Civil War with a very strong shout out to Deadpool. Captain America Civil War is one of the best MCU films. A lot of people regard it as Avengers 2.5, and I can agree to a very big extent. Just the film itself is ballsy, and then just it works because of the ideals that you know Cap and Iron Man have. You know they can clash, and they do, and you believe it. Like, you could have had two random people clash and not believe it, like, I don't know. Can't really think of any characters. Luke and Obi-Wan, two similar characters. You can't believe that they would clash over similar ideals. If they have the same ideals, they would not clash. But with Cap and Iron Man, they're two very opposite characters. Cap does what's best for the people. Iron Man does what's best for his own benefit. And the best for his own benefit is to sign the Sokovia Accords. The best for his own benefit is to keep his right and freedom that he has always gone for. That's what his entire character arc is about. Freedom and justice, and just the right of that. And then Iron Man's is just him going for the selfish act and just going for what's best for him. And you see these two clash just head on. And also, we see the addition of two very big characters, Black Panther and Spider-Man. As you all know, Spider-Man's my second favourite Marvel character, and my fifth favourite character of all time. So believe me, when I saw this in the cinemas, I was shitting myself, just like, oh yeah. Deadpool. Let's talk about that one. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, brilliant. I fucking love it. The story, just like the little sort of sub-story plot of what's my name, and then Deadpool just kept spelling it out, and then the final battle he spelled it out with a bunch of dead bodies. Yeah, it's Deadpool. Obviously we have Colossus, and also one of the first big sightings of Cara Dune. Sorry, not Cara Dune. Gina Carano. I think the last big film, like big Hollywood film she was in, was Blade. And seeing this film and see how her career has gone up since then has been amazing. Obviously, she's in The Mandalorian now. She's rumored to get her on Disney Plus show. Deadpool is one of my favourite comedy films because I consider it a comedy action. I really enjoy it, and that's why it's got a strong shout out. I know there's a lot of strong films that came out this year, but I had to pick these two because this was probably when the superhero genre was near its peak. You'll see when it was in a couple of years' time. But let's move on to 2017. 2017. A year that was pretty boring. Let's be honest, it was pretty boring. But not in the film industry, because we had a film like Spider-Man Homecoming, which I think is my favourite film of that year, with a honourable mention to Baby Driver. Spider-Man Homecoming has a really strong villain, Vulture, played by Michael Keaton. Obviously, it's not an Avengers level threat. Obviously, it's a Spider-Man level threat. We see that Vulture doesn't try and do shit to the extent that it gets the attention of the Avengers. He does it just below where it's just enough for him to do whatever he wants. Obviously, he doesn't realise that Spider-Man is not an Avenger and he's below it, so he's pretty much on the same level. And we see them clash in a very strong battle. My favourite scene is the 5 to 10 minutes where Peter walks up to Liz's door. Vulture opens the door, and it's revealed that Vulture is Liz's dad. And then the car ride, uh, when Peter goes into prom after talking to Vulture, that 10 minutes for me is the best bit of the film. It's probably one of the best scenes of the MCU for me. Just just such a plot twist, and the psychological games played there is just so good. Baby Driver, strong film. Edgar Wright did a really good job with it. It's a very simple story, very simple storyline, done to a done to a T here. Obviously, 2017 is not much to brag about with films. These two are just some personal favourites of mine, and yeah, 2018 it's gonna be a strong year for you all. Stick around. Coming in 2018, we have probably some of my favourite films of all time here. We have got the main film of the year, Avengers: Infinity War, with a very strong shout out to Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, let's start off with Infinity War first. This film did not feel like a superhero film. It felt like, well, it did, but it felt like a bit opposite way round. It felt like the Avengers were the antagonists and Thanos was the protagonist. And just, you don't see a lot of superheroes losing nowadays. But in this film, they lost half of the fucking universe. Thanos just came in, kicked their ass, and took all the stones. Thor, the cocky bastard, went for the esophagus. Star-Lord went for the noggin. Well, he hit the noggin with a blaster. Fucking donkey. Obviously, I feel like this film was a bit debulked by Endgame. I don't feel like Endgame should have happened. Or if it did, it shouldn't have had the time travel aspect. They probably just should have fought the actual Thanos in the present day with the Infinity Stones there. But I felt like Thanos should have been the one that time travelled instead. It just felt right and felt more normal. Maybe he travels to different planets to clean do with the Avengers, and they would want to come back. He'd try and recruit some people with his Chitauri, and people like well, Ebony Moore's dead, so his other children, the Dark Order, obviously, and just try and take on the Avengers in this big galactic battle. Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, a story about one of my favourite singers of all time, Freddie Mercury, and the journey he had from just being Farouk Bulsara, a kid from Zanzibar, turned into this iconic musician. And I'll always miss Freddie, man. And this film just fucking hit where it lives, and yeah, it was a very strong film. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that Rami Malek got an Oscar for that year. Very strong performance, very strong storyline, and just I really hope they make more of these films like Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man. Maybe one about Michael Jackson or Elvis Presley, or maybe someone like Jimi Hendrix or something. Who knows? But 2018, very exciting year for film. How about we go to 2019, shall we? I'll meet you on the other side. 2019, a lot of things happened this year. Nothing to do with COVID yet, but we have got, as my favourite film of the year, Joker, with a very strong shout out to 1917. You might be wondering where Avengers Endgame is. I wanted to vary it from the MCU, so I brought out Joker. Joaquin Phoenix as Joker is brilliant, and I hope we get to see more of it, because I've been hearing rumours that Jared Leto will return as Joker, and I do not want that. I want Joaquin Phoenix's Joker to be the main Joker for the next phase of the DC universe. Um, Obviously, the origins of the Joker story haven't been told that much in the past, and now it has. It is very good. We see him. We see Joker as just a street clown, and just how fucking brilliant it was. I don't know, man. It's just Arthur Fleck. Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck and Joker was very strong. Um, and I enjoyed it. I've always wanted to have a little look in the background of Joker, not one where he gets thrown into acid and his face turns out all white and shit. That one was a bit boring. But 1917, just that film. I love war films, and that's probably one of my favourite war films. I can't really say much about it. It's just a very good film. I like how it looks like it's just all one continuous take as well, and there's just little secrets to how they actually did that. There's a video about it. I won't leave a link to it because I don't know what the video is. But 2019 was a very strong year last year. Obviously, you have films like Parasite, you have Star Wars Episode 9, you have Avengers Endgame. You have a lot of films that came out that year. But I decided to choose these two, and I'm very happy with that. Let's move on to the year that I hope we never fucking live again, and that is 2020. Never thought I'd say them words again. 2020, a year of shits and wits, a year of COVID, and not allowed to leave your home. For 2020, the film of the year for me, I put Dolittle. And as a strong shout out for second place, I have got Extraction. Now, Dolittle for me, I watched it in January before COVID became a big thing in the UK, and I really enjoyed it. RDJ as Dolittle, I think it was a very strong performance. Obviously, we've known RDJ as Iron Man for the last couple of years, and yeah, very strong performance for me. I really enjoyed it. Don't really know what else to say, but just the story was very strong. I enjoyed it. It was a good laugh. Yeah. Extraction. A very solid film. Chris Hemsworth as the main protagonist. Obviously, you can't have Chris Hemsworth in a film without him being a main protagonist nowadays. Just the storyline behind that is so psychological and just so personal. I enjoyed it so much. Like, not sound like a psycho, but it was really cool. And I can't really say much else. Just it's on Netflix. I will advise you all to watch it. I advise you all to watch all these films I recommend because they are very good films, very good fucking films. But yeah, 2020 is done, but I ain't finished yet. Let me show you what I mean. So we know that a lot of films in 2020 were pushed back to 2021. So I have decided to pick two films that I think will do the best in 2021 in my opinion. The two films I've gone for are Spider-Man 3 and Mission Impossible 7. Spider-Man 3, I hear a lot of good things right now. Doc Ock, my favourite Spider-Man villain, returning. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire returning. Jamie Foxx returning as Electro. Obviously, there's going to be a Sinister Six fight. Rumours of Doctor Strange coming in for it. It sounded like a very jam-packed film, and I can't wait for it. Obviously, there's concerns of it being too overcrowded, but I don't care. I just love Spider-Man, so I'm very happy. And obviously, Mission Impossible 7. Obviously, we've heard shit about Tom Cruise being like, we're the reasons that films are going to be opening again, and just because of people not wearing masks and shit. So, like, they're kind of leading the way for films reopening again, in their opinion. I obviously think that the MCU and Star Wars would be. But just, if we're being honest here, Mission Impossible 7, everyone will see it, no matter what. it's a really good franchise, and obviously we want to see Tom Cruise in action again. It's Tom Cruise. Who doesn't know him? If you unless you don't watch films and TV like Rotoshaw, then yeah. But they're my top two picks for 2021. Obviously, there's a lot of other strong films that are coming out that year as well. So don't just watch these two films this year. Keep an eye out for a lot of them, especially Black Widow that's coming out this year. It's been coming soon for a fucking year now. So, but yeah, they're my picks for 2021. But with that being said, that is the end of the video for today, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I know most of you won't reach the end of the video, but if you have, there's a giveaway. This lightsaber. I'm gonna give this away if I get to 100 subs. So yeah, stay tuned. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow my Twitter down below, channel Hunter419. My PayPal's gonna be down below as well if you want to support me. And yeah, hope you all enjoy, guys. Take care and peace.